Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Uncensored Critic podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It means the world to me. Thank you very, very, very much. And today we welcome along another fantastic actor who I was lucky enough to see perform this year, and he goes by the name of George Naylor. And for anyone who is not familiar with George's work, let's take a moment to introduce him right now. So, George graduated from Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama in 2016 and has accumulated a fantastic set of credits. For screen, he has appeared in a number of short films, including ones called Open, Relive, Hangnail, and Sundowning, Unpredictable for Amazon Prime, Spirit Rangers for series 1 through to 3 on Netflix, Tour for Netflix, and Web of Lies. And for the stage, he has an extensive credit. Taming of the Shrew, Madness in Valencia, and The Rover for the Richard Burton Company. It's Baby and Sold at the Park Theatre. Wendy and Peter Pan, written by Ella Hickson for the Royal Lyceum in Edinburgh. One Man, Two Governors, The Mousetrap, UK Tour and West End. President Laughter and Henry V at the Barn Theatre. And most recently, Second Best, where he was understudy to Asa Butterfield, who some of you will know as Otis from Sex Education, at the Riverside Studios, directed by Michael Longhurst, written by Norris. Barney Norris. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting there.
I got a text now, a very angry Barney
Yeah,
Norris.
oh God, sorry, Barney. He's gonna kill me now, isn't he? I'll never work with him now. So Barney Norris, sorry, mate. And it's the story of Martin Hill, who came second best to Daniel Radcliffe auditioning for the role of Harry Potter. And the play is a thinking of what life could have been if he had got the job, as he recently becomes a dad. But in the meantime, George, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm warm.
You're very
It's a
well.
warm
Yeah,
day.
we've had 3 or 4 days of being utter misery, hasn't it? Now suddenly the sun's come back out again. It's weird, isn't it?
Don't know how to dress. It's terrible.
I know. Yeah, it's a common theme in the UK every single year, isn't it? So we start at the beginning. So in your case, George, where did it come from? The love of acting, being in this business, where did it come from?
Um, I think like quite a few actors. Well, I belong to the pool of actors where it's just always been a thing I've done. This idea of performing and telling stories. I used to kind of doing little shows in your living room with my two sisters for mum and dad, and then doing things at school, and just kind of being constantly fascinated by people performing live. And that's not just in theatre, that's with music as well. Um, and this idea of telling stories, there was a brief period where I wanted to be a priest when I was a kid. We're talking like 8 or 9, just because I love the idea of getting to stand up and talk to a room full of people and
Yeah.
and tell stories. Nothing religious in it at all. I
No,
just love the
it's
attention.
theatrical, isn't it? It is a
Yeah,
theatrical thing, yeah.
totally, totally. And so it was a very. I'm very fortunate in that way. I think I'm quite lucky in the sense that I've always known what I've wanted to do, and I've never really felt that sense of not quite being certain of what my path is, because in a weird way, it's all I've been ever been able to do, and I've always been quite good at it and naturally done it anyway. So at some point, someone's going to start paying me for it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So, as I said, you went to the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, which is a highly prestigious school that's it's not up and coming anymore. It's really established itself as a really, really popular
Mm.
school for people to go and train and acting, musical theatre, whatever it is that you want to do. So, yeah, how were those 3 years at Royal Welsh?
Um, Intense. I was fortunate to be there when I was, because for me anyway, the school at the time was sort of I from because now I do a lot of work going into drama schools now. I work a lot at Lambda and at Bristol Vic Theatre School. I do a bit of Birmingham as well. Um, and so I kind of, from that external point of view, in my opinion, drama schools sort of go in and out of popularity, go from being quite strong for a while, and then
Mm.
being sort of out of fashion for a little bit, and then go back in. So for the period of time that I was at Royal Welsh, I think I was quite lucky because Royal Welsh was really sort of in fashion,
Mm.
known for being a very cool place to be, even though I was the least cool person there. um, I think, like most actors going to drama school, it's intense and it's full of ups and downs. I think the connections that I made at Royal Welsh and some of the people that I had teach me were second to none, and I was very lucky to have been in that position, and especially to have been championed by one or two of the teachers whilst there. I can't talk about Royal Welsh without talking about Marilyn LeConte, who is the head of radio there at the time, and she not only championed me for my 3 years of drama school, but was also instrumental in paying for my transport for the audition, making sure that my audition was, because I'm a sort of working class gay guy from the West Midlands. I have no money, um, like, and she was instrumental in making. She saw me in something and was like, you'd be brilliant. I want you to come and train at Royal Welsh." And I was so fortunate in the sense that she made sure that I was put through the door and given the space to show the rest of the faculty what I could do, and the potential that I had at the time, and kind of convinced them that I should go there for 2 years on the trot because I didn't get in the first year.
Ah, wow. Yeah.
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 So yeah, it was full of ups and downs, and but good. I wouldn't swap it.
Yeah, because you're not alone in that. I know some people who tried three or four, even five times to get to
Mm,
drama school, and eventually they did. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to GSA and stuff a couple of years ago, and just the amount of people they say that four, five, six times, like
mm.
that they just the courage that a lot of young people have just to get to drama school is incredible. What sort of kept you going after those first two attempts, do you think?
Well, it's strangely enough. So you went to GSA, so I know Guildford quite well,
Oh yeah.
because I went to PPA on a foundation course. Do you
Oh,
know PPA?
I do know PPA. You're like the
Yeah,
enemy. You're like the enemy to GSA.
enemy. Even though PPA was born from
Oh, was it?
GSA, well,
Okay,
originally
okay.
it was their course,
Yeah.
but I was there for a short time. Again, I can't mention PPA without mentioning Paul Chesterton, again, who just championed me and still does to this day, and who I adore and will always look up to, and have been very lucky to work with several times since then, as
Nice.
because he's a brilliant director himself. Um, as well as being a teacher, sorry. Um, so it was 3 years in total, really, because the first year, again, from the middle of the Midlands, from a town called Telford, where,
Hmm.
I just don't know anybody who is an actor, so I didn't really know what a drama school was, or that they existed. So it was very much a Google search and applying to whatever universities were on UCAS, being rejected by everybody,
Uh,
not even a recall first year. And then it was a Facebook ad that I spotted, when I was on Facebook, advertising PPA for a foundation course, and I auditioned. I got a place. Was very lucky, um, and managed to get like a kind of the combination of a scholarship and my mum essentially remortgaging the house to go and study for a year. Um, and that changed a lot because, through Paul and through the school, I was introduced to this idea of drama schools and kind of was able to audition to places. Um, Auditioned and got offered a few places and recalls and things, a lot better the second year, but not the places that I wanted to go in. So took a year away and then
mhm.
went into Royal Welsh after that.
Nice, yeah. So, what would you say was like the biggest difference between George on day one of Royal Welsh to the last day? Do you think? What do you think your time there? How did it
I think
change?
George on day one was very keen to prove himself and very uh, petrified, mainly like a rabbit in headlights. And sort of strangely isolated in many ways. I think Royal Welsh, not Royal Welsh, sorry, by itself, but a lot of drama schools tend to be quite full of. Um, I don't want to badmouth drama schools intake, but they tend to be wealthy students.
Yeah, yeah.
I was definitely in a weird minority where, I it was strange to me that people went skiing every summer. Like, not, I'm not, shitting on that at all. If I could, I would go skiing every
Yeah, of
summer,
course.
but
Yeah,
not that
yeah,
I've ever been skiing. But
yeah.
like, I was kind of surrounded by that, and I think a lot of actors find themselves in that situation. So weirdly isolated. But by the end, I think I was excited and ready to leave, and I'd kind of set my sights to other things, and was lucky enough to have been signed and had work lined up, and sort of had a greater sense of who I was and what I wanted to do, and sort of realized that everything with a pinch of salt.
Mm,
You know, everybody means well when they're teaching or directing things, but the advice that they're giving is unique to their set of circumstances themselves. Like, and I'll say this about myself when I go into drama schools. I'll always say, take what I say with a pinch of salt. I'm a white man from a working, gay working class man. My experience is unique to me. Some things will work for you, others won't, and that's okay.
yeah.
But I'm just passing on those tools. And I think learning that was quite quickly, I was like, oh, that teacher or that director doesn't want me to fail, or what they're saying isn't relevant. It's
Mm,
just that it doesn't apply to me.
yeah.
That's all it is, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's got a unique journey. Everyone does things at their own pace and everything, and just
Mm.
know that, there is no right way of doing anything, and excuse me, is that, your process is unique, and that's one thing I learned as well. Like, you find ways that work for you. Other people have different things, blah blah blah. But obviously, it's about finding how you can work best and get
Yeah.
obviously you want to make a performance of something which you're yourself proud of. Obviously, there's that inner voice in our head going, "Oh, that line wasn't very good," blah blah blah. But you tell that to fuck off. But just know that we're all trying to find the best way to make ourselves happy and walk off stage going, yeah, I'm happy with that. Obviously, you're not going to
Mm.
parade round and say, look at me, I'm the greatest fucking actor ever. But, you just go, yeah, I'm happy with what I did there. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's also kind of setting that ego aside as well, and kind of not
hugely.
being afraid to ask for the things that you need, but also B, to admit that you don't know something.
Mm,
I remember there was a moment in drama school in a third year show where we had a wonderful director. We had Owen Horsley come in and direct sort of a stripped back version of The Two Noble Kinsmen. And I can't remember what the word was, but he used a word that I didn't know the meaning of.
mm,
And I kind of put my head and went, he said, "Oh, you just need to be more this." And I kind of went, "Don't know what that means." And like, there was a handful of people that kind of giggled or sniggered. And it was that thing, not that they were, they're bad people at all. I very much
mm,
love my year group. But it was that thing of kind of, at first, I was very sort of upset and kind of felt belittled by that. But then on the other hand, I kind of walked away and went, "No, fuck that."
yeah, yeah,
Like, if I need to know, that's not my problem. That's the director, using something that is normal in their world and is absolutely fine. But
mm,
I don't speak like that. And in order for me to do my job properly, I need to not be affected by the shame that I feel in that moment by not knowing what that word means.
mm,
And taking that and applying it to other things and going, no, I don't know what that is. Could you explain that to me? I'm a big believer in constantly growing and constantly learning. I think if you're not growing, then you're shrinking.
mm,
Um, Again, and it's something I say to a lot of drama school students. I think, I'll walk into rooms to direct a project or teach a project, and I always sort of say, look, I'm learning from you. Otherwise,
mm.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
Like, if
exactly.
you can teach every single person in this room will be able to teach me something, and I want to know what it is. I think that keeps you humble. It keeps you growing. It shuts away the ego, because even if someone, because we've all met people that you're like, what the fuck are you doing, kind of thing. But even if you have that headspace, even if you remind yourself of, no, they'll know something that you won't know,
Mm,
and
yeah,
it kind of, it gives you pause on the judgment that can come.
mm,
um so yeah, I think having that headspace is a huge sort of thing as well, that I took from drama school. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's the phrase, isn't it? Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So,
Mhm.
yeah, but
Oh, I've not heard that. That's great.
though, yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
No, that's great.
no, yeah, no, it is. Obviously, I'm not belittling everyone who goes to drama school doesn't know
No,
stuff,
no,
but
no.
but yeah, no, it's true. Like, you should never just write someone off, just for no reason whatsoever. It's like, oh, you don't come from my world. Or I come from London, or where do you come from? The Midlands. Ugh, who comes from the
Mm.
Midlands? And you're like, no, just fuck that bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone's got experiences, and I can't tell you that. I've met people from like outside of my circle where I grew up and everything, and they're coming in with all these stories and these experiences, and I'm just listening to them, going, "Wow, Wow. And then there's all these experiences like from all over the world and different
Mm,
people, that kind of thing. So yeah, you're right. It's important to just say that we're all different, but we can
mm.
all bring something to the table, which I think more than
Totally,
anything
totally.
is
And sharing in
absolutely
sharing in that excitement of learning something new or
yeah.
experiencing something new. Like I get really annoyed when people go, so my my partner's Portuguese, so he
Uh,
missed out on a lot of sort of classic films growing up because he would be watching Portuguese stuff and um well he's anyway. But for example, he hadn't watched E.T. And
EC.
of
Wow.
course, there's a part of me that goes, "What the hell is wrong with you?" But the logical part of me and the way I've learned to express myself now, and I think it's a really positive, and I'm really proud that I do this, is now I'm like, I'm so excited to watch this with you now. I'm so
Yeah, yeah.
excited for you to experience that because you still can. Can you imagine how, lucky you, yes, it's like someone saying, I haven't listened to the Beatles. Instead, it's having the stance of, what the fuck? And it's having the stance of how lucky do you get to be to sit
Yeah,
down and listen to the Beatles for the first time in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s
that's
and
incredible.
really just sit and focus on it. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
experience that for the first time and have that as a tangible memory.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I know. Like,
I
I'll be honest. A few years ago, if someone said to me, I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan," and
mm.
if someone said to me, "Oh, I've never watched it," I'd be like, "How could you do that? You've missed out on the one of the most."
No, and it's totally natural. I'm guilty of it as well. I am
Yeah,
guilty
yeah,
of it. I
yeah.
would go,
It's like what? Or
like,
like if someone says they haven't watched Star Wars or something, and you're going,
mm,
"Where have you been the last 20 years?"
mm.
Obviously, you've probably just
But
been.
it's
Yeah,
checking yourself and kind of going, no, I don't want to belittle them for not, and then push them further away from actually watching The Lord of the
yeah, yeah,
Rings.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to invite them into it and go,
No,
come watch it, come watch it.
that's a
Do you know
very
what I
good.
mean?
That's a very good point because then you can sit down with people and go, "All right, I'm gonna play you now in one of the best films or best trilogies of all time, Lord of the Rings," and
Mm,
to see like their reaction for the first time, going and like I don't like this, like when like when you've watched the film so many times, when like the jump scare is or the big twist,
yeah,
like for example, like, you've seen The Sixth Sense, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so spoiler alert, he's actually
Mm.
dead the whole time. Bruce Willis, God bless him. But funny enough, you just when you're sitting with someone who's never watched it for the first time, and then suddenly you see that moment where the camera pans up and you see his hand and he's not wearing his
Mm.
his wedding ring, and then Cole's voiceover comes out, "I see people," and they go, you see their eyes just light up and their jaws just drop, and you're just watching
Yeah,
that for the first time, and you're like, wow, yeah, you get to see that experience and relive it all over again. Even for yourself, it feels like you're watching it
yeah.
again for the first time, and it's yeah,
The
I love
joy of that, the joy of that shared experience, it doesn't necessarily have to be a new thing for you, but if it is for somebody else, see that as something worth celebrating as opposed to crushing.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, like if you're watching something, and like a massive moment's gonna happen, like the heroine or hero gets killed, and
Mm.
see the person you're watching it with is going, "Oh my God, I absolutely love this character." And you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna keep quiet. I'm gonna keep quiet. I'm gonna keep quiet." Yeah, no, let them find out on their own. Let them find out on their own. Yeah. Also, just very quickly, I remember someone telling me a story that they were watching a film for the first time, and someone else had watched it in the room with them, and they were going, "Oh, there's a good bit coming up now. Oh, you'll like this next bit," and you're like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up."
That's me. I'm really guilty for
Oh,
that.
oh, are you?
Well, focus
Okay.
on this bit. Focus on this bit. This is a really good bit. I can't control myself. I mean,
Okay, okay.
Jurassic Park is one of my favorite films, and my
Oh,
housemate
classic.
she'd never seen it, and so we went to watch it at the Royal Albert Hall with the live orchestra.
Yes,
Something that
yes.
I've always wanted to do.
Amazing.
And we went and saw it, and all the way through, I was just basically saying the lines as we were going through. Just me leaning in, going, "They improvised that," laughing all the way through, all the row in front of me, just hating, loathing me.
Yeah.
It's
Is
just
it?
you're so invested, you know.
Oh, no, 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 no. I wasn't belittling you there, by the way. I didn't realize that was your.
No, 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 no,
No,
no, no,
I get
totally,
this.
totally not.
No, I get
I'm
this
guilty
image.
of it.
No, no, no. I get an image of like some people on the row in front of you just doing this.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Also, those things there. Oh, yeah. Because I was lucky enough to see Amadeus there. I think with a live orchestra, and it was all
Mm.
subtitled. All those films when they do that, they're all subtitled as well, just in case anyone who's hard of hearing in the audience or something. So you're basically reading it off. So when you said that. Yeah, I was reading each moment. I was like, yeah, because there were subtitles.
Literal subtitles.
There were subtitles.
I don't need the subtitles for Jurassic
No,
Park.
oh no, 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 no,
I
neither do
could
I. No, neither
perform
do
you the
I.
one man Jurassic Park right now if you needed me
Exactly, no.
to.
I could give you the one man Jaws as well. Honestly, I know that film like the back of my hand. Honestly, just
Great.
love that film. Brilliant. Oh, mate, we could talk about that for ages, couldn't we? But just very quickly, before we get on to second best, I want to ask you about you did possibly talking about classics. Actually, you did the Mousetrap.
Yes.
UK tour as well as a run in the West End. And for anyone who's not familiar, it's the longest running show in the West End history. It's been going over 60 years. It's an Agatha Christie classic. Who done it? You know, it's four people. Is it 4 or 5 people in a room? And there's a murder, and they're trying to find out who did it, essentially. And the twist happens at the end, and that's all we'll say. But yeah, how was it, the Mousetrap?
It was great. I mean, the tour we did it only for I think it was like 2 months before we got pulled because of COVID, of
Oh
course.
shit! Yeah.
It was that year, so it felt a little bit like unfinished business. Because long running plays, I've done a few now. You can quickly tell how good a text is if you're in a long running play. If by the end of it you're kind of like kill me now, then you tend to realize that the text doesn't have a lot of depth to it, in my opinion, anyway. To my limited sort of knowledge of it, I'm there going, well, maybe this is the problem with the text. But with the Mousetrap, it was very much we were 2 months in, and it was that thing of going. I was still coming off stage and making notes
Mm,
and going, oh my god, I just realized, I've just thought that, and so it felt like unfinished business. So when I went back to do the West End run it was like the 70th anniversary of it. It was a big deal. There was a lot of marketing.
wow.
They really sort of revamped everything, and um, I'd never gone back to anything before because the script was still up there from 2 years ago.
Mm,
Um, I'd done a show since then. Obviously, we were all out of work for like a year, and then I'd done a show and things opened up, and then went into Mousetrap. But yeah, it was a really joyous experience. I didn't expect to love it quite so much, but there's that text is just so rich. Those characters are just so rich. I mean, again, even since doing the tour and doing it for 6 months in the West End, in the final few weeks, I was still making notes going, oh my God,
yeah.
I've just realized this moment means this. This is connected to this and this and this. Um, and again, it's that mentality of keep growing, keep growing. If you're, and every actor will reach that spot. There was definitely 3 months in where I was like just dead behind the eyes. And there was a moment where I was like, I have to fix this and I don't know how to fix it. I need to talk to someone older and wiser. And someone advised me to go back to technique, go back to things like, there's that great book, Different Every Night.
Yep.
I reread that and
There's a
had that
Mike
in,
Alfred's, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, and had that in my dressing room. And I started to apply just something from that every single night. And then suddenly everything just sparked back to life. And I I like to think that I continued to grow on that show, and that character kept becoming richer and richer and richer. And because the lines were like, I don't know, etched into my
Yeah.
skull at that point,
Tattooed.
I could focus entirely on something so specific for the entirety of the show and not worry about the lines because the lines would surf themselves up.
Yeah.
But I was really lucky to be part of that cast as well. That cast was brilliant,
Mm.
really brilliant. Eleanor McLaughlin, an Irish actor who was playing Molly, was just phenomenal. It's every now and then you'd find yourself on stage going, I'm so bad compared to you. She's one of those actors where you're looking at going, damn it.
Yeah.
um,
You're like, just stop. Just stop
yeah, just
it.
stop. Like even she'd come in on a like on a day like, yeah, I don't know, maybe she'd gone out the night before or something like that, but like on her bad days, she
Yeah.
was still just incredibly watchable and incredibly present. And there were definitely moments when I was on stage just kind of looking at her going, oh my God, how are you? Oh, yes, my line. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
you're
yes,
so
me.
absorbed by what she's doing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she's fantastic. I was very lucky to be part of that
Yeah.
cast because they were all brilliant in their own right.
Yeah.
And I had a great understudy on that as well, Elliot
Oh,
Coombs, who was gorgeous.
nice. Yeah, good. So, which character did you play in the
I
Mousetrap?
played Christopher Wren.
Christopher Wren. God, I've seen the play twice. My mind's just gone blank. Christopher? Does he come on with the pie at the end? No.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
So there's
Yeah.
that thing about Christopher Wren where, it's never explicitly said that he's gay, but
Right.
I said to the director straight from the off, I'm like, he is gay. And he was very much like, what? Is he? I'm like,
Is he?
he definitely is. The way
Okay.
he talks, the fact that he is more vulnerable with women than any other man. He doesn't really speak that much if another man is present on stage. The
Yeah.
fact that Giles is so threatened by it, there's multiple things. Plus, Agatha Christie most of the time writes a queer character in.
Mm.
Because they did exist at that point. Look at her peers. You've
Of
got like
course.
Oscar Wilde, Noel Coward. They're all there, incredibly flamboyant, camp men existing in
Yeah.
plain
Yeah.
sight.
Yeah.
Christopher Wren is definitely one of them.
Yeah. John
Um,
John Gielgud as well, and everyone. Yeah. Just all these people. Yeah.
mm,
But yeah, so I suppose that was always a good. I remember seeing it twice. Like you have the last line of the show where you
yeah.
rock on with this pie and there's steam billowing out of it, going, "I think it's done. I think it's done." Yeah, and then the curtain goes
Which
down.
ironically was my least favorite line
Was,
in the
was
entire
it your
thing.
least favorite?
Thinking about it now, I think I'm not because it's a bad line. I was like, oh, couldn't there be a nicer ending for the show for him? But yeah,
Yeah. Do you
but I
know?
love that character and I love that show.
Yeah, and sorry, do you know at the end? I think this is well documented now, but at the end, the actors come forward, they take their bows, and then was it always the guy who, let's just say, was the twist in it?
Yes, yes,
Did he
it's
always?
always that person. Yeah,
Oh, right, so it was never shared amongst anybody else.
no, no,
Oh,
thank God because yeah, I'd be there going, Naruto.
yeah,
um, yeah, it's always them. Yeah.
yeah, because basically so that guy comes forward and says, "Thank you very much for coming, but now that you've seen the mousetrap, keep it quiet. Don't tell anyone. We ask you just to keep this quiet." And of course, yeah, they want the show to keep going, and it's a national treasure now. I mean, so like you said, 70 years in the
Mm.
West End. I mean, that's
And there's a reason why it's been running so long.
yeah,
It
yeah,
genuinely still grabs people.
mm,
Every night for 6 months, there were gasps, there were
mm,
laughter, there was applause, and there's things that become relevant and not relevant again. Like while we were doing that run, we had three prime ministers because
no.
that was the time where Boris
Oh,
Johnson left.
Trust and
Liz Truss
Rishi
came in,
Sunak.
and then Rishi. We had three prime ministers. The Queen passed away.
Yeah.
Like we had so many things happening during that run of that show, and like there's a great line on it after Boris for that period of time when chaos was going on in our government.
Mm.
There's a great line where I ask what's in the paper, and Miss Casewell turns and goes, "Oh, just the usual." I think she says something like, "Just the usual nonsense, politics." And for like 6 weeks in a row, that line, people would be in uproar. We'd just
Yeah,
be
yeah,
sat
yeah,
on the stage waiting for that line because it still rings so true, and other bits would as well. And
yeah.
yeah, I think it's easy to judge the Mousetrap. Because I almost did as being something of a museum piece or something that isn't creatively fulfilling. And actually, um, I challenge people to go and see it. And when it's done well, it really does just fly. Especially with Ian Talbot, who's a brilliant director. Who, when he
Mm.
was at the helm of it, I know he's not anymore, but he was so kind of. Um, he gave us so much creative license with doing things with our characters, regardless of what had come before. He was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to jump on the sofa." He was like, "Jump on the sofa." I was like,
On the sofa.
"Great, fantastic,"
Yeah.
but also very strict about certain things. Like gave a great note one time. He came and saw the show, and he said, "That joke wasn't funny tonight." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know why." The audience were a bit. He was like, "No, no, it's never the audience's fault. It's your fault."
Ah,
The reason why. Um, it's not funny tonight and you're blaming the audience because it's not real for you anymore. You need to play the sincerity, keep playing the sincerity. Any actor that goes, oh, the audience is shit tonight, it's because that they're not playing it believably. They're then playing for laughs. And like that was just gold dust. So I'm learning a lot as well on those shows as well, going, God, right. And he was totally right. The
Yeah,
next night I went out and just went, don't play it for laughs, play it like a drama, play it sincere. People were howling,
yeah.
you
Wow.
know,
Yeah, I've
and
never
going, oh,
heard
right. Yeah.
never heard that before. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah,
Ian's a brilliant director. He's been doing it for over 60, 70 years. God, I'm not sure, but
wow.
he used to run Regent's Park, and he's just this God, um,
He's seen it
this
all, hasn't he?
wise man. He's seen it all and knows how
Yeah.
to fix things.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah. I
so
say,
constantly just taking notes, going, yeah, yes, thank you,
yeah.
Ian.
So should we just do a podcast? Should we just do a podcast? But yeah, no. I tell you what. One last bit on the Mousetrap before we get on to second best. Actually, was there's the moment where the let's just say the centerpiece of the show happens, and it involves the I don't know. Said record player. It's not a record player, is it? But it's the radio, and then suddenly
Mm,
it's music, and then suddenly it shifts to this narrative. Imagine you're in a room.
yeah.
Suddenly, you're alone, and the door opens. And then you look stage right, and then the door opens, and what happens next happens next. But
Mm,
even just that voice and the way it was directed, I mean, it's even when I saw it the second time, I knew it was going to happen. But and even then, I was
mm.
like, "Whoa, hang on a minute, what's going on here?" So it's still,
It's
yeah,
It's
it
so
was,
affecting. It's a really
yeah,
good piece of writing. It's why it's been running for so long. It
yeah,
doesn't rely on bells and whistles. It doesn't rely on, not that there's anything wrong with those kind of shows, but like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just really good. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Woman in Black. You know,
Oh my God,
just two actors on stage utilizing the full power of storytelling in order to make you genuinely fearful. Brilliant. And Mousetrap does it as well. Yes,
yeah.
there's a full set behind them. It's a bit easier with more cast, but it's still, the bones of that is there. That backbone of storytelling, the writing being that good. Um, it's fantastic. And it was a privilege to be a part of.
Yeah, God, amazing, man. I mean, don't get me started on Woman in Black. We could talk. I could talk for ages about that show. I was lucky enough to interview Chris and Tom Godwin, I think, a couple of years ago, and they were the
Yeah.
first father and son duo.
Mm.
They're actually father and son to actually do Kips and the actor and everything. And we had a great chat about that and everything. And yeah, God, that I mean, I'm sad that it's not there anymore. It's
Well, it's going back
Operation.
on tour
Yeah, it's back on tour now. Yeah,
next
but
year.
no, Operation Mincemeat's at the Fortune now. I mean, and that's a
Mm.
very, very different show to Woman in Black now. But
Mm.
that was there for 30 years plus.
Yeah, second longest running play.
Second longest, well, behind the Mousetrap.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Mm.
yeah, God, I mean, I hope it comes back. And like you say, it's going on tour now. So I think it's going to Richmond at some point later in the year. So if you're anyone who's London based, yeah, go there and just catch it. Of course, if wherever you are in the country and it's near you, just go. It's just fantastic. Anyway, so let's talk about second best, which actually I saw you in earlier this year. So written by Barney Norris, sorry again, mate. Directed by Michael Longhurst. So it was a really really like interesting piece about but how coming second best in something was actually the in a lot of ways right for the protagonist and I think for what he
Mm.
actually wanted. And of course, like I said in the intro, it's the story of Martin Hill, who came second to Daniel Radcliffe when they were auditioning for Harry Potter, and unfortunately he just missed out and unfortunately didn't get the part. And it's a one-man show and looking at how that is about Martin and how life could be different, how basically asking the question, what if, what could have happened, and then yeah, and then it goes along. So we might touch on some slight spoilers here, guys, just let you know. But yeah, first of all, how did you hear about the job? How did you get it?
My agent got in touch about a tape. I think that was in October the year before,
Oh wow.
and I didn't really think much of it. I was in Portugal at the time, so I sent a quick tape off, and then if I'm completely honest, I completely forgot about it,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I didn't hear it back until January of this year. Like I think it was like the 3rd of January, where I was asked to go meet Michael. Uh, and yeah, I went in. There was like five of us. I was sort of the last to go in. Did the little bit of it, and kind of spoke to him about what to expect. And because I'll be quite honest, I wasn't 100% sure whether I wanted to do it or not.
Hmm.
Um, Simply because of being an understudy. Now, that's not to say that I think understudying, that I'm too good for understudying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah, no, no, no.
I just know what I'm like personally. Um, I get jealous. And
Yeah,
you know, I embrace that part of me. It's something
yeah,
that I'm working on.
yeah.
But I know that the fact that I was like, I'd said no to being an understudy a couple of times before then, simply because I was like, I just know that I'll be that arsehole in the dressing room waiting for someone to trip up. And that is not something I want to be, and not something I want to bring to a company.
Mm,
That's primarily not the job of an understudy. So I don't think that I do the job very well.
mm.
Um, Especially having had and seen good understudying before me. Um, and so there's a little bit of pressure there. But after talking with Michael and talking with my agent about it, I realized what a great opportunity it was, and how, especially for a one-man show, it's something that before this year, I was like, I was saying I'd never, 12 months ago, I'd say to myself, I'll never do that, never want to do that,
Mm.
don't think I could. Fine,
Mm.
I'm happy doing my big kind of ensemble pieces. And so to get the opportunity to not only work on and rehearse and put together a one-man show where I'd have to collectively hold an audience of 600 by myself for an hour and 20 minutes, but to have the safety net of it not being my face on the front of it was really appealing. And to do it with such an amazing creative team, to work with Michael, to work with Barney, to work with Ali, the assistant director, who is just gorgeous and brilliant, and to walk Asa through it as well, because Asa, of course, had never done a play ever.
Never. Wow.
Never. And this was his first. And I kind of, day one, I kind of said to him, I was like, you're mental.
First ever
Because
theatre piece. Wow.
as someone that's done plays, I'm quite lucky to have worked quite a lot in plays. And like literally a year doesn't go by where I don't do at least one or two. For the last almost decade, for someone like me to be like, oh, but a one-man show, I'm not sure about that. And for him to just come out the gate going, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that. I was like, nah. And so there
Wow.
was also a privilege in sort of standing by Asa and sort of getting to watch him do that, and also, support him in my own small way as well, of kind of being able to stand next to him and be like, no, just relax. It's this or it's that. Or
Mm.
um, yeah, that was a real privilege as well. Yeah, and on Fly set as well. It was just gorgeous. It was a great gig. It was a really good gig, and I felt bulletproof afterwards.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, it was. I went along because I'm a big fan of Asa and his work and everything. Just very quickly, well, what's he like as a person? What's he like working with him?
Ace is great. Ace is a sweetheart. Uh, yeah, he's a really good guy. I think he definitely felt the pressure of the gig. But I'll never forget his first preview. First preview, he was himself, and so was I, to be honest. Because well, it's that thing of going. I
Yeah.
was there, stood there,
Is it going to
backstage,
be
and
all
I kind of
right? Yeah.
I gave him a hug, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm going to be right at the back of the room watching you from the gods.
Yeah.
You've got this. You've got this. They don't know the play. You're fine." And he kind of went and did his thing, went and warmed up, and because he's on stage from the off, and
Mm.
I didn't sit down for the entire things. I was like white knuckling the railings and the gods, because in my head I was there going, he's never done a play. Nobody actually knows
Yeah.
how he's going to respond to the audience there live on
Yeah.
this stage doing this one man show.
Yeah.
And so in my head I was like, he could just pass out. He could just
Anything can happen.
completely crumple. Anything could
It's
happen.
live
And
theatre.
not that he ever would, of course.
No, no, no,
I
no.
had confidence and trust in him, but there was a voice in the back of my head going, I don't think, yeah, but nobody does know. So I was very much there going, I'm like ready to go on
Yeah,
if he if he doesn't quite make it. Um, but he, he reached the end, and as soon as he started to take his bows, I went round to the to just off stage, and so he came off, and I'll never forget, he came off and he was just beaming, and he had his mic taken off, and I went like that, and he gave me this biggest kind. I was like, "How do you feel?" And he was like, "Fucking," I was like, "Yeah, you're
yeah.
never gonna go back to doing films and TV. That's it. That's it."
That's it, man. You've got the
And
theatre
of
bug
course he
now.
has. He has, but he's totally got the bug now.
Yeah.
Like we were talking. We were we were talking about it. I can't remember what. Maybe it was maybe we were. I can't remember. But he was saying how he really wants to do a company play now. He's got the hunger for it, and we were talking about it one night because we jam in in the dressing rooms. We both play instruments and stuff. And we were talking about how a one man show is wildly different from a company. It's a
Mm,
completely different
it's
beast.
different.
In comparison to an ensemble piece, and he's really keen to do an ensemble piece, and I think he'll be brilliant in it. And because he's a he's a great actor and an even better person. He's a real sweetheart. I really
Yeah.
rate him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he started off in the business so young. Because remember, he did
Mm, mm.
Boy in the Striped Pajamas actually, and yeah, that was brilliant. In fact, when I get the chance to interview Asa in the future, I'd love to talk to him about his. I mean, his role in Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I mean, obviously, the ending was just that film. Oh God, it broke me. That film, it really did.
Mm.
Yeah,
He
it's
has some interesting thoughts on his experience. I won't because I don't want to misquote or
yeah, yeah,
whatever
sure.
for him, but
Sure.
because we spoke about it, and he had some very interesting thought experiences on that
Yeah,
set. So when you do interview him, we can, I'm sure he'll
yeah.
tell you.
Yes, more to follow, guys. More to follow. Stay tuned. But anyway, just back to the play. I mean, it's because I went along, and of course there was a notice outside to say that unfortunately Asa is unwell tonight. You're seeing his understudy, and I thought, okay, great. So I've interviewed a few understudies on here about just how, and I really wanted to shine a light on the role actually as well because you guys do so much work on top of all that, and unfortunately sometimes we don't get to see it. I've interviewed Danny Arlington, who was understudied to Jodie Comer for Prima Facie,
Mm.
Victoria Blunt, who understudied Andrew Scott's Vanya and stuff. And actually, both of them were really lucky. Well, all three of you actually were very lucky because you all got a performance and you all
Mm.
got the chance to perform it and show off the work that you've done. And yeah, it's. I think understudying. I think people should definitely take it. I think, for at least not like don't be an understudy your whole career, of course not.
Yeah.
But do a couple of gigs where you can, because if you think about it, you're in the room and you're with the creative team, with the director, with the writer, and everyone in between, and with the main actor, and you're all learning together. And I think definitely it's worth doing at least once or twice in your career if it's offered to you, right?
Yeah, I'd echo that. I think I think weirdly similar to drama schools. I think it has to be the right job for you in order to understudy it. And I think second best was perfect for me to understudy. I think if I'd have done one of the other jobs that I sort of turned down where I was understudying, I do think I would have been an asshole and it wouldn't have been a nice experience. I think I would have regretted it. But I agree with you. I think it's something that every actor should do. Every actor should understudy at least once or twice in their career. Um, but like with any job, regardless of whether it's understudying or not, I think you need to know what I don't mean this in a kind of money way, but know what you're getting out and gaining from the job. That might be in some cases money, but I just mean in terms of growth and creative fulfillment. And second best kind of ticked a lot of boxes. So I was very fortunate
Mm.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think before we get into the character, and I remember you mentioned just now that when the show started, it was either Asa or yourself. Actually, you were on stage before the audience actually came in. Because I remember
Mm.
walking in and I remember seeing you like pacing up and down the stage and stuff. That was like the pre-show. But I
Mm.
was, if I may ask you this, what were your feelings? Because I know you've done, all due respect to Asa, but because I know you've done a lot more theatre than he has. But even when with
Ooh.
the experience you have when you walked in and you hear the audience start to chatter as you're just pacing up and down,
The
what were you like?
disappointed kind of tuts at seeing
No, no,
me,
no, no,
not
I'm not
Asa.
saying
No,
that.
no, it's totally
Yeah.
legit. My
Yeah.
my partner came and saw the same show, and
Oh, did he?
he was like, there was a little bit of tension in the air. But I like to think I won you over by about 5, 10 minutes in.
Oh, of
But
course you did.
um, but it's worth mentioning that that set, although a brilliant set by Fly Davis, an incredible designer,
It
didn't have
was.
any entrances or exits. It's quite literally one big white void that you're trapped in.
Yeah.
In fact, once you bow, me and Asa would have to jump off the front of the
Yes, you
stage
did.
to
Yeah.
leave. There's nowhere to hide on that stage,
No.
except at one point behind a box, which I'm there
Yeah.
like spraying myself down. No, um, so I think my understudy run, which I'd had 2 weeks before,
Mhm.
um, was far more terrifying. Simply because there was okay, it wasn't a room of 600 people like it was the night you saw it. It was a room of 50, 40, 50 people,
Mhm.
but all of which I knew personally, my
Yeah.
agent and a few people and friends and other work colleagues and whatnot. And so for the understudy run, I was freaking out big time. Um, I'd much rather perform to a room of 600 strangers than to three people that I know.
Yeah. It's a weird one,
I
isn't
don't
it?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there because I care what they think, and maybe it sounds bad, but I don't need to see though. I don't need to have Christmas dinner with those 600 strangers. Do you know what I mean? Like, um, yeah, for the understudy run, pacing up and down, I was like, no, you've got this, and then the show starts where there's like I would get a cue, a little laser pointer, then I would cue back to let them know that I was ready, and then I'd hear the music, and then we'd come in, and the lights would break up. And the first line is, I look out to the audience and I go, "So this is it." And that first night at the understudy run, I looked out and went, "So this is it." And in my head, I went, "Nope, nope, this is such a mistake. What are you doing? What are you doing?" My mouth dried, completely dried up. Never had such a dry mouth
Yeah.
on stage in all my career. Was there going, "What are you doing? This is awful. This is not a good idea, George." And so for the next hour and 20 minutes, just plowing my way through this show in front
But
of
hey, you got through
40.
it. You got through it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time I made it to that run,
Yeah.
weirdly, I was raring to go. I
Oh,
was
good.
so game. I was walking up and down going, come on, get in. Let's go. Let's
Well, I want
go.
to start
And
now.
so,
Can you guys take your seats already? Come on.
yeah, but
Yeah.
weirdly, the same moment, that same moment I described in the understudy run where, the lights click and I looked to the audience and go, so this is it. That night, I don't know if you remember, but I kind of
Yeah.
looked out to the audience and then, so this is it. And someone in the front row went, yeah, it is. Woo! Like that.
Hey?
And immediately, like they shouted, they went, yeah, woo, there it is, or something like that, right on the front row. And it got a little giggle as well. It was great. But,
Hey? I don't remember that.
um,
Sorry. No.
I'll never forget it because it was like the best response ever.
This-
Um, and I just was like, I don't know, that and the kind of energy of like I was really ready for it this time and hungry for it because I knew that I could hold it. Um, it just, yeah, I had a whale of a time.
Yeah.
I've never, as I say, I've never felt so bulletproof and kind of confident of my own abilities, petrified, but
Oh,
still
yeah.
kind of there going, no, I've got this, I've got this. You're following what I'm saying, and I think this is working. But it is a strange beast, a one-man show. You don't, in my head at least, you don't know how it's going until the end, which is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah,
But then you got a great reaction because you said your final line and the whole place just rose to its feet. And
yeah.
it's you got a really good reaction. I'm just trying to remember. I'm sure I would remember something like that. Someone going woo like on the first row.
Yeah, it happened right in the front row. I'll never forget it. I
Jesus.
was listening. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will, mate.
Yeah.
Now, God, I'm just trying
Yeah.
to remember that now because I remember us walking in and stuff. What's that? My mind's just gone blank. I don't know why I don't remember that, but Oh, it's interesting. But yeah, but the play is like it takes you on this journey of like someone like there's 10 years old at the time and they're on the brink of landing a job that's going to change their life forever.
Mm.
And I remember in the play, the casting directors, everything, what you were telling us was like they really laughed at this bit, they really liked what I did. And I walked away like thinking, yeah, I've got it. I think I've got it. My life is about to completely change. And then of course you get the news that you didn't get it and all the stuff that they were saying that made you so hopeful, unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately the part wasn't yours and everything. But in the end, it turns out, he then goes on this journey of thinking of what could have been, what could have been. So
Mm.
how did you approach that mentality of Martin when he's trying to figure out what could have life been? So I suppose who is he to you, Martin, do you think?
To me, see, I think what Barney does beautifully with his text is he finds a really good vessel for things and then hides other things underneath it. Because for me, the play isn't about not becoming Harry Potter at all. Hmm. Ironically, it is, of course, it is because it's there in the text. But in my head, it's about a guy learning how to accept grief and how to accept that people who are put on this planet to sort of look after us and watch out for us, and that you trust, especially as a child, to do that, don't always
Hmm.
come through for you. Which sounds awful, and there's a great line in the play where he talks about his mum because his mum, after his dad passes away, his mum kind of becomes very distant and goes away to another country to work and leaving her son with. And it's that thing of there's a great line in it where he essentially realizes that his mum is a human being as well, dealing with grief, she's dealing with the same thing that he is. And so the play for me, yes, has this vessel of him going, what could have life been like if I'd have gotten this part in Harry Potter? And I think he uses that as a milestone in his life to go, if I'd have gotten the role in Harry Potter, then Dad wouldn't have died. Then Mum wouldn't be abandoning me with this other guy, and that I wouldn't have been sort of not necessarily. Well, yeah, it is abuse, I guess, emotionally abused by my mum's new partner.
Mm.
My life would be somehow better. And actually, I think what it's about is him going, yes, that thing happened, but sometimes these things aren't connected. And actually, there's a lot of, it's about taking a new perspective, taking a new shift, a new stance on the world. Yes, his life would have been different. Yes, his life may have been better in some circumstances, but ultimately there are some things that we can't change. And you have to live through those pains and those kind of hard moments in order to be able to not just experience, but also to be able to recognize love and joy as
Mm.
well. There is no light without without the dark.
Yeah.
That old cliche.
No, it's true.
Um,
It's true.
and he says at the end, when he's holding his son, and he's found this woman who loves him for his entirety, for his grief, for his unspoken trauma. Um, you know, he realizes by the end of the play that, my God, he hit the big time. He got the role of a lifetime. He found someone that loves him for who he is.
Mm. Of
Which is what we're all searching for, right?
course.
Love, acceptance in somebody else or more than one person, whoever. And he finds that. So yeah, it's an interesting thing because my partner said the same thing as you. He was like, "Oh, it's about rejection, about not getting that job." I'm like, "No, it's not about that at all." Well,
No.
it's just different interpretations, but that's what the play is about, and that's the journey that Martin's on for me, anyway.
Mm.
Asa, of course, is a very different journey entirely.
Yeah, it's different interpretations, different actors and all that. But yeah,
Totally, totally.
yeah, yeah.
It's a one-man show. You're not going to see the same show with two different
Oh
actors.
no,
Ace's
no.
version I was very fortunate in the sense that Michael was not interested in me copying what Asa was doing.
Oh no, that's
Michael
good.
was very much, yeah,
That's
Michael
good.
was like, no, 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 we're doing your version.
Yes.
You're not doing that, you're doing this. Yes, of course, there were certain moments tech-wise that we'd have to hit that had to be identical in order for the
Sure.
tech to work, but he wasn't interested in me
Yeah.
kind of making a hollowed out version of Ace's show,
Yeah.
which is why I think the job was so perfect for me. Because
Yeah.
I'd watch another actor, it doesn't matter who it was, and I'd be there going, I don't know why he's doing that, or I don't want to do that. I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, I think I remember Danny saying the same thing. She wrote an article for Spotlight, and
Mm.
she said she'd heard so many stories of understudies in the past being told, yeah, just basically the actor you're covering, and it's your turn to do it. Just copy them, just do exactly what they're doing, and just don't, yeah, just do what they're doing. And she went, no, I mean, I want to actively do my own interpretation of the part. And, and
Mm.
like you say, and I think that's great. Obviously I'd love to see Ace's version and stuff,
Mm.
but the way that the two of you, I mean, I would probably remember your version and see Ace's version and think, I saw something different. I saw something
Mm.
different in these guys, and then obviously it's the same script, the same story, but there's still a similarity there somehow, and a
Oh yeah,
similarity.
absolutely. There'll be parallels. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a
Um,
similarity, but there's the differences is what really intrigues me. It's like what else? What
mm.
else did you find in the part that Asa didn't find, or what did Asa find in the part that maybe you didn't, or like? But it's the differences between the two, which is fascinating. I'm so happy that Michael said, no, 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 you do your own thing. I want to see
Mm.
your version of Martin, and I think
Mm.
that's brilliant, absolutely
And
brilliant.
Alessandra was also, the assistant director was also pivotal in that as well, and she was so supportive, applying where she goes, "No, you're going to have to do the same thing Asa does here because that cues this bit of tech." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, no
Okay,
worries, I
fine.
can
Okay,
find that. Let me
fine.
find it in what I'm doing." And but as well, she was pivotal in kind of upholding that kind of creative license as well, alongside Michael. I was very fortunate. That creative team was insane.
Yeah,
Everybody, from this stage management team, like just top to bottom, they were, you know, there was no weak link.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a good project for
Mm.
sure. Yeah, I think there's two moments in particular which kind of really, I think my reading of it is showing that obviously what you talked about, and also how maybe he's dodged a bullet here, and actually finding fame and fortune was actually not meant for him at all, and actually
Mm.
he's got the better deal out of the two of them, because there's one scene in particular where he goes to a museum in Paris, I think, and he is just walking around, and someone comes up to him, and they think one of your lines is he's got a cap pulled down, and he's
Mm.
like just trying to like hide himself, kind of a bit hunched over, and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, do you know the way to?" I'm probably not getting the lines right here, but
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, excuse me, can you help me find the thing or something?" And then you see a crowd of people in the corner all taking pictures of
It's the
some
Mona Lisa.
no, the Mona Lisa, yes. And
Mm.
then I think you say, like, oh, wow, that painting's so famous. I wonder what it's like to have all that fame and just have loads of people want to take your picture or something like that. And just the man next to you goes, yeah, yeah. Well, it's not
He
all,
says, "Poor woman, all she ever did was pose for a picture."
yeah, yeah. And there's the and then the guy next to you goes, well, it's something like, oh, it's not all, yeah, I suppose. And then you realize, oh shit, I was just talking to Daniel Radcliffe.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so, and there's that strange serendipity where you meet the person who got the role, and then you see what his experience has been since taking it, and you're going, oh, I mean, I remember thinking, see, he's not happy. Well, he's not as you think it would give you like the rush and like, yeah, everyone knows who I am, but he's actually like, well,
Yeah, I mean that scene. So yeah, that scene in particular, because he's Martin's working at the Louvre, and so Daniel Radcliffe approaches him and goes, "Where's the Mona Lisa?" And he shows him, and Martin recognizes him straight away, and as you say, shows him. There's a big crowd there, but Daniel Radcliffe can't get closer because he's Daniel Radcliffe. Radcliffe
I
will
mean,
be
yeah,
noticed.
he'd be
But there's
mobbed.
a
Yeah.
line just after that moment, um, where Martin takes own it, because before that shift, he was invited to a party that night,
Hmm.
which he says no to. He doesn't. He decides not to go, and then this thing happens to him where he meets Daniel Radcliffe, and this he says, and then Daniel Radcliffe said thank you, and then he walked on, and then the next line is, and I went to that party that night because I just met Daniel Radcliffe and the world hadn't ended, and it's the first time where he meets his now wife, and it's that moment of going, that huge fear, that person in my head that I built up this image, this kind of idea of what it might be like to have been that person and what it might be like to meet that person,
Mm,
suddenly you sort of see the human side of it of going, oh, Jesus Christ, they're not the character, they're not this, they're not that.
yeah.
Actually, they're just a guy looking for the same things that I am, which is, as I said, love and acceptance.
Mm,
Um, and he sees this other guy, and it's like he has nothing that I don't have, apart from being a multi-millionaire. But he
right.
has nothing that I don't have. All the things that make us happy are just as accessible to me as they are to him.
Mm,
When once all the basic necessities that are there, and he takes ownership of his life from that point. He
mm,
takes ownership. He goes, "No, I'm going to the party," and he meets, as I say, he meets his wife. Um, it's really interesting. I love hearing other people's interpretations, and you're right. It's that thing of he's there going, oh, actually, life probably sucks for him, which
mm.
I'm sure it doesn't completely.
No, no, no.
He is Daniel Radcliffe.
He's
But
all right.
I think it sort of highlights the human side of things. I think it's very easy to build up people with any kind of fame or success to be these sort of not godlike people, but these untouchable people
Mm.
whose worlds are just paradise, and actually they're just human beings
It's just
trying to get on
regular.
with things.
They're just regular people at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I don't know about you, if you've ever met like a hero of yours, or you met someone like really famous who you've really like wanted to meet at all. But I don't. I remember meeting Ed Sheeran actually last year. I used, yeah, I used to work in a pub, and and it was next to a college called Oakland's College. They had a big hockey tournament on that day. I didn't realize his missus was actually playing there, and then he
Mm.
popped next door with a security guard and both of his kids to have a bit of Sunday lunch before they went over to it. And then I remember seeing this guy get out the car and thinking, God, you look scarily like Ed Sheeran, like scarily like him. And I went up to him and I gave him his food, and it turned out it was him. And I said to him,
Mm.
"Can I just say, dude, I'm such a huge fan." And he was like, "Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that." But he was just dressed in like a rainproof coat with a cap on, and his glasses,
Yeah.
just like however you would dress on a Sunday, And it was like
Mm.
a sort of a coldish sort of day, but it was just a regular, down to earth guy with a big heart. And I just thought,
But
yeah, yeah,
it's that thing. I don't think I've ever really subscribed to personally, I've never been really much of a sort of, even with actors that I admire, I've never really fanned
yeah,
over them at all,
yeah,
because in my head I'm there going, well, I see what they're doing, and I could do that, and I could learn how to do that, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do that yet, but maybe I will at some point. So I don't know, there's a little lesser of the magic there. I think with musicians, I definitely have been like, oh my God, I'd love to meet that person, because what they're doing is magic to me. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, so I think I would be more of a fan with, depending on what certain things are. I mean, I live with with quite a famous. I don't know if you know this, but I'm one of Miriam Margolyes' lodgers. So Miriam lives two floors
Ah,
down.
ah,
So I
yeah.
see. So we have coffee most mornings, and we have a gin and tonic most nights,
Oh,
just
I
to
love
catch
her.
up. But like, there's also that illusion around Miriam as well. People are very much there going, "Oh my God, that must be amazing. What is she like? She must be wild, crazy." And actually, I'm there going, "Well, she's kind of like my grandma. She's just downstairs trying to get on with her life, and you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more high maintenance than most people's grandmas, but but it is. She's just, and actually, the vast majority of our conversations are just about what we're having for dinner, or yeah, we'll talk about acting and go to the theatre quite a bit together, which is nice. And um, but I think, I don't know. I think people sometimes think, oh, their worlds must be completely different, and it must be. And in my experience, it's very rarely that. Once
Yeah.
you've sort of watched The Traitors with Miriam, it's kind of like, well, they're just as into shit as you are. Like,
Yeah. Oh, mate, I love Miriam. She's a big hero of mine. Yeah. Well, please tell her I said hi. And
I will, I will.
yeah, yeah. Oh, she's just amazing. I'd love to interview her one day, actually. I would. Yeah. I'd love to talk to her.
So would half the nation.
I know, I know, I know. But hey, you got to throw your hat in the ring somehow.
No,
But
absolutely.
Yeah, no. Well, please tell her I said hello and I love her work. She's just incredible,
I
incredible
will.
as well as actress. And there's the second moment I'd love to talk to you about was this is the final scene, I think. And sorry, Barney, for revealing this, but I think it's so. Martin becomes a father towards the end of the
Mm.
play, and he realizes, and that you had that lovely box, which like where you open, it's like a wardrobe, open it up, and you had the crib and everything in between that, and you sort of pull that out. And I love the final line, which was to say that. I'm going to butcher this, sorry, but you walk over to your son and you go, now I don't think about where life could have been, what could have happened. Now I just think, did he enjoy his sandwich?
Mm.
And I just thought that's, and then the lights went down and everyone went,
Mm.
oh, yeah, it's,
Like, but Barney's an incredible writer. He's a beauty. It's such a shame because that script went through so many
oh,
different iterations and
I bet it
cuts
did.
and additions and stuff like that. Like right, like even through previews, I was having to relearn pages
Really?
because the changes were being made, which is the nature of these things.
Yeah, it has
But
been.
every version, Barney has such poetry in the way he writes. I'd read quite a few of his pages before, so I was excited about meeting him and working with him. And he's hilarious to work with
Mm,
and a joy to work with. Um, but yeah, it's a gorgeous bit. I think it's again just commenting on sort of the perspective that you can choose to take on your life. You can choose to look at your life and be kind of bogged down in this idea that things would have been better if I'd have gotten that, if I'd have gotten the thing that I wanted to get. Or you can take the perspective of look at how free I am, look at the things that I have, look at how lucky I am. And, especially in a day and age where things are really shit globally, I think it's fair to say. I think that way of looking at the world is can be quite powerful and almost like an act of protest in itself. Um, Being able to look at things and go, no, I have more power than you're allowing me to believe that I do. No, things don't have to be this way because there are more of us than there are of you.
yeah.
No, I have more. I have the right to do this. Just because something legally says one thing doesn't make it right. Having that ownership and having that perspective on the world, um, I think is a powerful thing. And Martin has it. As I say, there's that moment after meeting Daniel Radcliffe, his perspective shifts. And then, as you say, when he's got his son, his perspective shifts again. Suddenly he realizes this is the most important thing.
Mm,
This is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what I did or didn't do. This is the most important thing I have and will do.
mm,
Um, yeah, it's a gorgeous line. I wonder if he enjoyed his sandwiches.
mm, mm,
And that also generational thing as well, because that was the relationship he had with his father. And those little things, those little daily things that bring joy and connection, those are the things that stay with us.
mm. Yeah, it was a really it said so much in just from a description of a sandwich. It said so much just about
Mm.
making sure that your child is okay. Is he fed? Is he nourished? Is he like? And all my attention now is just giving to something, to a person, like you say, is something much more important than anything else I thought of before. And yeah, it was a really beautiful moment. I think that's a really lovely ending that the play had for sure.
Mm.
It was. Yeah, like I say, when the lights went down, there's a few people around me just went, "Oh, yeah,
Oh, that's all
yeah,
right, wasn't it?
yeah, it was all right, wasn't it?" No, 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 in a good way, man, in a good way. But yeah, no. But I mean, how did it feel when you'd finished? And obviously, you said that the second time you did it to 600 people, was there like a feeling of when you'd done it, was like, "Yes, I've done it," or was there a feeling of like, I can go again"? What was it?
I could go again.
You could go again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's do it again. Next time I'll do this and I'll tweak this. I kind of came off. It was funny because I came off and I was sort of thinking about. I took the bow and that was nice. I was like, oh, everyone seems to enjoy it. Jumped off, but because as I say, you don't really know how it's gone until the
No, no,
end.
exactly.
And I walked off, and I was like, and they came forward to take off my microphone and stuff like that. I went, "Oh, do you think?" And they're like, "No, no, no, go back out for another." I was like, "Oh, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, I should be doing that,"
Yeah,
because
back out, mate.
I was already thinking, no, I think the next time I want to do this. And I said to Ali, and to Mike, I was like, I want another go. I said to Asa, I was like, you,
Just stay, stay
just
ill for one more
fancy the night
day.
off. Like I am ready. So I was gagging to go again because there was like I said about Mousetrap, second best is a beautiful script. Barney's written something gorgeous that deserves further life, and I think will have further life. Whether I'm attached to it is another matter entirely. But
Mm,
it was a joy to do, and I'd love to do it again and keep exploring it
mm,
because there's so much more work to be done and found
mm.
in that. I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope it comes back. I really do. And
Me too. Yeah.
I think it had its run in Riverside Studios in Hammersmith, and so I hope there is a way to bring it back somehow because I think a lot of people would really love to
Mm.
see it. I'd love to see it again and sort of have another look at it. But yeah, congratulations on the performance again, man. You really did a wonderful job, and it was a
Thank you.
really sort of. I mean, my reading, like I say, is like an exploration of like just getting rid of the idea of what could have been and like focusing on what's really important.
Mm.
And like you say, that scene with Daniel Radcliffe when you said, was it the line is the world didn't end, and then you
Mm.
realize, oh, I didn't need to worry about a thing. There was nothing.
Mm.
There was no need to be afraid or build up this image in my head at all. And like
Yeah.
it's almost that was the moment where someone came along with a pin and just popped the balloon, and it all
Mm.
just went, oh, we're done.
This idea that fear is something that we generate, that
Yeah,
can be generated within us, but ultimately is coming from within, and so is something that's in our control to choose to feel or let it
exactly.
dictate how we live our lives. um, Again, a very powerful way of thinking, a powerful form of protest in many ways. We
For
don't need
sure.
to fear the unknown if we choose not to.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
perfectly normal and okay
yeah,
to feel it, but we don't need it to
yeah,
dictate everything to us.
exactly. And there's so many ways you can look at it. It's brilliant. But
Mm.
yeah, but congratulations again, man, and congrats to Barney, to Michael, and to everyone else, and of course Asa as well. Just for this show and everything. And let's bring it back soon, man. Let's bring it back. I'd love to see it again.
Mm.
George, this has been absolutely wonderful, man. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I've just
No
got
worries.
two quick fire questions to finish on today.
Shoot.
First of all, what would you say was no, what was it? Yeah, my mind's gone blank. What would you say was a bit of advice you wish you heard at the beginning of your career?
Don't build your entire personality and life around this career.
Yeah,
um,
it's
the
true.
thing that I like to say to people, for better or for worse, is that you are bigger than this job. If you judge yourself and measure yourself and how well you're doing in this career, then you're always going to be unhappy. You're bigger than it. And I like to remind myself of that, going, I'm bigger than this.
Mm,
I'm a brother, I'm a son, I can do this, I teach, I'm an uncle. There's so many more things in my life that bring me joy and meaning rather than just this. And that's, again, an incredibly powerful way of thinking in my book.
yeah, that's brilliant. I love that. And finally, today, what would you say has been an experience? You probably answered this already, actually, but what would you say has been an experience or experiences you've had in your career up to now that you'll never, ever forget?
Oh, there's like multiple.
I say
Yeah,
what?
I would say, yeah, second best as a whole, kind of proving myself that I can do a one-man show. Um, and sort of grappling with that kind of animal in itself, knowing that I can hold a room by myself and holding a story together. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, there's just moments when you feel so present and so connected with a room of people where you can hear a pin drop and that thing of just knowing in your head, knowing, my God, everybody's here and everybody's with me and that's magic. It's pure magic. And that's kind of given me the hunger to do more. And I am doing more.
Cool.
But I'm working on a project at the moment which is yet to be announced, but is another one man show
Oh,
for
brilliant.
something, and it's that thing of going, Christ, okay, this is never something I thought I could do, and so yeah, I'll never forget that job, that gig.
Yeah. I mean, for your next project, how much of it can you say, or is it all kind of hush hush at the moment?
I got cast in it a couple of weeks ago, and I've already done a few days R&D, but it's going to be very cool, very
Nice.
cool.
Good. Good. Is it? We see it in
Very
London.
cool creative team.
Nice.
Hopefully, should it'll be touring next year for the first half of next year, and hopefully should have a London run by the end of the year.
Brilliant.
Um, which, of course, you're more than welcome to join.
Yeah, no, brilliant. I'd love to do it. Yeah, yeah. If you can keep me posted on that, I'd love to come and see it. And
We'll
of
do.
course, I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the press. But yeah, yeah, keep me posted on that, man. I'd love to see it. George, thank you so much, man. This has been absolutely incredible. I mean, it's been so great to hear about the play, and offers so much perspective, not only of what Second Best says, but just like other stuff we were talking about earlier with drama school and your experiences coming in and you throwing things in and then learning new things from that and everything. And you've definitely taught me a lot today, and I thank you for that. And
Oh, thank you, bless you. Thank you so much for having me. I
no, no,
never
no.
know why. I don't know why people want to talk to me. I'm like, all right, you
Oh,
can if you want.
no, don't say that, man. It's been an absolute joy talking to you today, and I hope we continue this conversation at some point in the future. And yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful to hear about all your experiences, man. So thank you. If you just hang on, I'll finish the recording, and we'll have a tiny debrief, and you can shoot off and enjoy the rest of your day. And
So,
so, in the meantime, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the Uncensored Critic Podcast. I'll be back very, very soon. And George, thank you.
thank you. Bye.